All right, let's talk AEW Revolution. It's that time of the year again where the AEW is finna cook up another amazing Revolution card. And today, I want to give my predictions for the show. We're going to start with the 0 Hour, AEW's pre show. They have one match on it so far, and that is a trios match. It will be Orange Cassidy teaming and conglomerating with his fellow conglomerator, Mark Briscoe, and Big Boom AJ, teaming up to go against Johnny TV and MXM Collection. Now I do like the team of MXM Collection with Johnny TV. They fit the same build and mode of being fashionistas and like Andromeda's characters. Orange Cassidy and Mark Briscoe is a great team, and bringing back the conglomeration for a pre-show match to get the crowd hype for the show. I like it. Big Boom AJ is, he's cool. Addition to AEW, put him on the pre-show does no harm to the credibility of the show. And I think it's going to be like a cool, pre-show match. A lot of entertaining spots from Orange Cassidy from MXN TV. I do think Big Boom might get the pin fall over Johnny TV, and that's my prediction for it. Big Boom, Orange Cassidy, Mark Briscoe picking up the win there on the pre-show. Now on the main card of the pay-per-view, they have 9 matches. I do think it could have been slimmed down to 8, right? I think the Continental Championship match, it didn't necessarily need to be on this show. I feel like that could have been the main event for Collision the night before and could have been a great main event. But nonetheless, it is on this card, and we're going to start with that one. It will be Brody King taking on the Continental Champion, Kazuchika Okada. Now, I do think this one is going to be a solid match between the two. Brody King being the big bruiser, Hoss, and Kazuchika Okada continually putting on just solid wrestling matches for the Continental Championship. Last time we seen him at Grand Slam Australia against Buddy Matthews, and they put on a solid match, even though Buddy, tweaked his ankle during his entrance, which was weird. And Kazuchika Okada, running through the newly formed Hounds of Hell, no longer House of Black. We know Malachi Black left AEW. So this match, I don't know if it will start the show, but we will start with my predictions on it. It will be a solid match, and I believe Kazuchika Okada will pick up the win, retain his championship. I do believe they want him to have more matches for it, just to build towards him the inevitable Okada versus Kenny Omega match, in which I believe will be title for title. I guess spoilers for my prediction later on in the show for that one. So it will be Continental Champion versus International Champion, and I'm hoping they do merge the titles to create the newly Intercontinental Championship. It just only makes sense for because AEW doesn't really need 3 quote unquote mid card titles, even though the International Championship has been booked fairly well and way better than the TNT Championship, and like main event guys have been holding that championship. The Continental Championship, it gets defended sporadically throughout the year, and then it just really heats up at the end of the year. So I think Intercontinental Championship for AEW, we could see that title being defended throughout the year, and then really getting heated up at the end of the year, and it could really be AEW's workhorse championship the way it really should be. So that's my prediction for that one. Let's go with Swerve Strickland versus Ricochet, man. Like I said before on the channel, I've really been enjoying what these two have been doing, man. Ever since the feud began, Ricochet's heel turn has been great, man. I know a lot of people been, didn't like Ricochet and thought Ricochet wouldn't amount to anything at AEW, would have been just on Dark and Rampage and stuff like that, making those jokes, clowning him over his promo ability. And I love that Ricochet has proven everyone wrong with this heel turn, and I feel like that's what AEW is all about. It's all about coming and reinventing yourself, like the Swerves and the Tony Storms has done in AEW, and Ricochet is added onto that list with this heel turn. And he, like I said, he's been cooking. Him and Swerve has been cooking. Ricochet being a little sneezily little heel, and the Will Smith laugh and everything about it has been great. And then once the bell rings, we know Ricochet can go. So the only thing he really needed to add was a character, and that he has done that. And this feud has been cooking. Ricochet has gotten a win over Swerve. Uh, he cheated to win. He's a heel, so that's great. Elevating his stock. And then recently in a tag match, for the Go Home Dynamite for the Revolution, he picked up another win over Swerve. So it's like, and this match is a number one contenders match. Winner will get a AEW World Championship opportunity. So it will be a great match, man. I think there's a lot of matches on this card that has the potential to be the show stealer, and this is one of those matches. And I believe Swerve is going to pick up the win here. Get his name back into that AEW World Championship scene as he should. Keep Swerve's name hot, keep him hot, and in the main event scene. There's a possibility Ricochet could get the win. And really, in my opinion, the winner of this match is kind of going to, tell us who's going to win in the main event. Because my pick is Swerve as a babyface. It only makes sense to run him and Mox. And that's a big match. That is a big match. I think that could be your double or nothing match. In the desert, to keep. And the last time I believe Swerve and Mox fought was the Continental Classic of 2023. And I think Mox got the win there. And that was Swerve's only loss. Because I think it was a tie between Mox, Swerve, and I believe Jay White, if I'm not mistaken. Please correct me. And if Ricochet wins, that will tell us that Cope will win. I think Swerve and Mox is a better matchup than Cope and Ricochet at this point. Okay, let's move on to the next match. We have Mercedes Moné defending her TBS championship against Momo Wanatabe, the winner of I think it's the International Cup or whatever that happened in New Japan. The collab show with AEW, Ring of Honor, and I believe CMLL. She cashed in her opportunity to face Mercedes for her TBS championship, which is interesting. Because Mercedes holds 3 championships, 4 belts. She holds the TBS championship, she holds the New Japan Strong championship, and she holds the British, Unified championship. You could have still had this match, but maybe go for the New Japan Strong championship. But whatever the case is, this match is, again, one of those matches that potentially could steal the show. We know Mercedes she's been cooking, man. I know a lot of people, like, again, another one of those wrestlers who people like to talk crap about. But come on now, you can't deny Mercedes Moné's credibility in the wrestling industry. You can't deny her in-ring ability and her star power. And with this, it's going to be a great match, man. Another great match with my prediction, Mercedes Moné taking the win and retaining the TBS championship. It could be upset. Momo could take the TBS title, but I highly doubt it. And yeah, next match, we have the Hurt Syndicate defending the AEW World Tag Team Championships against the Outrunners. And the Outrunners getting a pay-per-view shot at the tag titles. You love to see it. A surprise win over the Murder Machines. When that match was put on, I thought the Murder Machines would have beaten the Outrunners. You could have still had the Outrunners look good in the match, but the Murder Machines win. But I like this one. I like this direction instead. The Murder Machine versus the Hurt Syndicate, 2 heel tag teams facing each other. Does no good for anyone. The Outrunners having an upset victory to get this match on pay-per-view. Great. You want to keep pushing the Outrunners. You want to keep them hot because they are over and they have the potential to be future AEW World Tag Team Champions. They could be the one that beat the Hurt Syndicate, just not tonight. I picked the Hurt Syndicate to win this one to retain the tag championships, but further down the line, you can just continue to build on to this match, and maybe later on in the year, you can have that upset victory, and you can really tell a story of the Outrunners really, continuing on, even though they lost, and, getting better and better and better to finally win the tag titles. Make this a 9-10 month story to maybe even next year. You can have at next year's Revolution them beating Hurt Syndicate. Make this a year-long story. Really tell the story here, because the Outrunners, they are over. They have a great look. They have, you know, I love the 80s look. I love like the retro thing, but they need to improve in the ring. And so I think a year-long story to see that improvement, to have them win the titles back. Well, not back, but to have them finally win the titles, excuse me. You could put on a great story with that one. But not tonight. The Hurt Syndicate is my pick to win and to retain their tag championships. Next up, so we getting down to the nitty gritty of the final 5 matches that are main event matches, man. Let's go with a match that really could go either way. I was trying to say this one, but let's go MJF versus Hangman Adam Page. And for this one, I am torn, man. Like this match is probably the only match on the card that is unpredictable, because everything else, in my opinion, is pretty predictable. I think we're still going to get great action from those matches. I think we still are going to have a amazing and top-notch pay-per-view, but it is predictable. But like I like to say, man, just because something's predictable doesn't mean that it's automatically bad. Sometimes predictability is great in professional wrestling, and then maybe you can hit a swerve here and there. But for this one, man, I'm torn. Between MJF Hangman, you have Hangman win, and continue on to get his AEW World Championship back. You can have MJF win. On Dynamite, we seen something crazy. MJF setting Hangman on fire, or looking to set Hangman on fire on live television. We seen Jack Perry do it to, Darby do it to Jack Perry on pay-per-view. Where he went backstage and they gimmicked it up. It was a great spot. It was a hellacious spot. But just on live TV with MJ about to just pour, man, that would have been crazy. Don't put it past AEW to actually do it. And I feel like, they're setting up something. With that being said, I'm picking, because I think the thing they should do, not necessarily what I think they are going to do, I think this should happen. I think either at Double or Nothing or something like that, I think they should do an Inferno match, man. AEW's first ever Inferno match. That's why I think MJF's going to win this one. I think MJF wins this one, obviously by cheating, doing some like tactic, low blow, the Dynamite Diamond Ring, and you could have Hangman, because I think Hangman is slowly turning babyface. Right now, he's a tweener. He was a heel. I think he's a tweener now, and he's going to become a babyface, right? So I think MJF could win this one by cheating. Maybe you do the spot again where he's looking to set Hangman on fire, and then you have Hangman continue on his pursuit after MJF. And I think the blow off should be an Inferno match where Hangman wins and set MJF on fire. A Hangman looking dangerous and just awesome, like we love Hangman and like he is. And then you could have him, go after the world title or interact with Swerve or interact with Kenny, or Hangman has so many different directions he can go, honestly. After this feud, I think this one should be a 2-3 match feud. I don't think this one should be a one-off. And with that being said, I think MJF should be the one to pick up the win and beat Hangman in a slimy, of course, heelish way and a scoundrel way. So that's going to be my pick for this one. It's going to be MJF. Let's move on to the steel cage match. Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher. And this one is going, of course, to be a banger. We are nearing now our final four. And this is like the main event, like of final four. Any of these matches could be main event. But let's go. Will Ospreay, Kyle Fletcher, steel cage match. So you had Kyle Fletcher beat Will Ospreay. I believe that was Full Gear, if I'm not mistaken. December in the Continental Classic, you had Will Ospreay beat Kyle Fletcher in the semifinal. This is the rubber match between Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. I think this one is going to tear the house down. Every time AEW puts on a steel cage match, it does exactly that. They haven't had a bad steel cage match yet. They use the steel cage match sporadically and for these purposes of blowing off feuds. And that is the correct way you do it. And there's a potential for Don Callis to try to weasel his way into the cage. In AEW though, they don't do the climb out victory. The steel cage is there to keep both wrestlers in the ring, and a pinfall victory, submission victory is the way you win the match. Now we have seen times where they did just open the door and stuff like that. So there's a potential for Don Callis to get involved. There's potential for a Mark Davis to get involved. Will Ospreay has been teamed with Kenny Omega, but Kenny Omega is busy. I don't see anyone else coming to the aid of Will Ospreay. Honestly, while Kyle Fletcher does have the number advantage for someone to get involved, this match, I mean, it's majority Will Ospreay, but there's a slim chance that Kyle Fletcher could win this match. But I just don't see where he go after this. Maybe after the TNT Championship, which is a high possibility, but I feel like he could go after that title even with a loss. So my pick for this one is going to be Will Ospreay, because Will Ospreay has more upside. Him going after the world title, him even going back for the international championship. Him and Kenny having a shake hand kind of babyface thriller of a match. Yes, Will Ospreay has more upside. Therefore, my pick here is going to be Will Ospreay. Speaking of the international championship, we have Tanosuke Takeshita versus Kenny Omega for the international championship. And this one is going to be a 5-star classic. It's going to be the match just like their first encounter at All Out 2023. And this is going to be the match you look back and say, this was one of those high caliber, high, stakes Revolution matches. This whole card, like majority of this card, has that potential on it. As I said before, we recently had Tanosuke Takeshita defend his international title against Orange Cassidy on Dynamite. And I believe that one was for just to have Tanosuke Takeshita have one big last title defense. Honestly, I think everybody sees this match as just already in the bag for Kenny Omega. We already know it's going to be a great match, and that's what we're all going into this match looking at it for, because we, pretty much already know the outcome. We already know where they're headed, and that's a great thing in professional wrestling. You want to have your fans knowing where you're going so they can, follow along and just understand everything, and that's exactly what this match is. They're going to give us a classic, but Kenny Omega will rise above and become your new international champion, and, just put that title back, to new, bring it to new heights. Tanosuke Takeshita, was in New Japan with the title, and overseas, I believe he may have been in Mexico and just all over the place with it. You had Will Ospreay, a big international name, hold it. You had Pac, the original holder, defending it all over, where he's from. So that's what the international championship should be. Just a title that's defending the AEW, defending it in Mexico, defending it in Japan. And that's what Kenny Omega is going to do as well. His former partnership with New Japan, and he was there at Wrestle Kingdom. So, you know, come on, man. Kenny Omega is an international star. He is the top gun in AEW. And this is just his get back to form, for Kenny Omega. And like I said, they're building towards him versus Okada at the biggest show, the biggest match at the biggest show. And that's just what it's going to be. And yeah, we're all excited for it. I know I'm excited for it, for this match and what's to come with the international title and what's to come with Kenny Omega. I believe him and Takeshita could have even another match, maybe a double or nothing, Takeshita beat him. Here's Kenny Omega win over Takeshita, and they can have a rubber match as well. Why not? Why not have it? Why not have them go double or nothing? So, in the semi-main event, the Hollywood ending, Mariah May going back after her Women's World Championship against Timeless Toni Storm. And this is their blow-off match for a feud that's been going on since last year's leading up to All In. Mariah May got the win over Toni Storm there, became the champion, held it for 6 months. Toni Storm came back and won it in her home, Australia. So Mariah May had home field advantage. She won. Toni Storm had home field advantage. She won. And now we're having the blow off, anything goes Hollywood ending match. This one should get vicious, and that's what I want to see out of Mariah May. Honestly, that vicious side of her that she showed when she originally beat down Toni Storm with the heel and left her bloodied. I think we recently seen Mariah May beat up Toni Storm again, maybe power driven her neck on the stage. And that's just the best version of Mariah May, in my opinion. I wish she showed that a little bit more during her title reign. Just continuing on that vicious streak after she beat up Toni Storm and really just taking it there. And I think this match is going to take it there. I think this match is going to and should be very brutal, very, battering. And they should bleed, man. I think Toni Storm should bleed. I think Mariah May should bleed. I think that will just up this match to really be a blow off and really, show people what the women can do. The women could do the same thing the men could do. And I think this is the match to showcase that. And with that being said, I think if this match is going to showcase that, I think Adam Copeland and Mox shouldn't. I think it should be a brawl, but I don't think it should be as brutal with weapons and blood and all that stuff as the women's, because you don't want these things to be back to back unless they're going to open the show with this Hollywood ending match and then of course close with the Adam Copeland and Mox match. If that's the case, then cool, right? We get it at the beginning of the show and then we get it at the end of the show. But my pick, of course, is Toni Storm to retain her women's championship only after just winning it a month ago. Speaking of Mox versus Adam Copeland, let's get into the main event of the show, or what I think would be the main event of the show. Unless they switch it up and have Adam Copeland and Mox open the show. But Adam Copeland versus Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship. And it looks to only be that, seen as leading up to this match, Adam Copeland took it upon himself and made it a statement to take out every member of the Death Riders. He started with Pac, hitting him with a concerto and sending him off on his merry way. He then decided to take out Claudio with a concerto and was looking to do the same thing to Marina Shafir, harboring back to his radar days back in WWE when he first started it. But Willow Nightingale came out for the save to do it herself after being attacked by Marina Shafir on multiple occasions back-to-back weeks. So that took care of them. They both sent them on their way in an ambulance. So it only leaves us with Jon Moxley and Willa Yuta. We've seen on the past Dynamite they're having their problems. Wheeler Yuta is tired or seemingly tired of Jon Moxley pushing him around after Adam Copeland offered Wheeler Yuta a handshake and said, "This is what respect is." Basically telling Yuta, see, you get no respect from these former past WWE guys. You get no respect from them. They treat you like a young boy. They treat you like less than. Putting some seeds of doubt in Wheeler Yuta's mind, and him and Mox had an exchange of words. Mox pushed him, Wheeler Yuta pushed him back. So it seemingly will be Adam Copeland one-on-one with Jon Moxley. And this one is going to be a brawl. This one is going to be that big star, main event match for the World Championship, as it should be. The first time these guys are facing each other in either company. When the former Dean Ambrose, Jon Moxley, was in WWE on his rise, Edge was out retired. When Edge came back, Mox was on his way out and leaving for AEW. Now that Mox is the top guy and the ace of AEW, Adam Copeland came in, and now finally we get this first time ever match for AEW's biggest prize. And my prediction will be Jon Moxley wins, because here's something that I'm predicting will happen. I hope will happen. Fantasy booking here. Seamlessly, Jon Moxley's all alone. Adam Copeland will have him cornered, looking to spear him when there will be a debut. In my opinion, this is what should happen. I think Dominic Dijak, should come in and be a new member and Jon Moxley's new Death Rider. I love his look, his former look with the aviators and the all black on, and, he has the look, man. And I think he could be Mox's, heavy, his heater, and, kind of a new look for the Death Riders. While Claudio Pack, is off, Marina Shafir is out, leave them out for like a month, or just have Mox and Dijak, as a 1-2 punch. And yeah, and I think Dijak should help Moxley retain his championship, and Mox should be champion for a little while longer. I know a lot of people don't like the Death Riders angle and what Jon Moxley is and all of that, but I think to really build and have a big moment when he loses it, he has to his reign of terror has to continue. He's only been champion now, what, 5 months? I think him being champion until All In, their big show, and having a blowout there will be a bigger moment than just having him lose it at Revolution. Now, you could have Adam Copeland win and Christian cashes in and, do the whole Edge and Christian thing, but I think it will do better for Mox to hold it for a little while longer and a young upstart beat him, rather than Adam Copeland, who's already a veteran. He's already proved in his career that he's world championship caliber, and he's definitely he's a Hall of Famer, no doubt. So him winning the championship, beating Mox this early, wouldn't really do the title no good. It would just be a title change just to have a title change, in my opinion. And then if, Edge wins and then Christian cashes in and become the champion, it's like, hot potato in the title just to do it. I don't know. Revolution is a pay-per-view for surprises and things of that nature, but just to do that, just to do it, I don't know. I think it serves us no good, just because people want the title off of Mox. That's why I think it's working, and I think that's why he should hold it for even longer. And you give the Death Riders, a change up, a switch up, and have Dijak come in, and yeah, just have Mox and Dijak for the time being until everybody else comes back, and you can then still do the whole Wheeler Yuta, Mox give him, an ultimatum of, of coming back and stuff like that, If not Dijak, I see a lot of another possibility swerving around that it could be Josh Alexander, who just left TNA Wrestling and is coming to AEW. I wouldn't mind that either. His name is the Lethal Weapon, Death Rider, Lethal Weapon. It goes hand in hand. So if not Dijak, which is my personal pick, then Josh Alexander being the new Death Rider, to me, is a great surprise, and I think he will work well with Jon Moxley. So with that being said, Jon Moxley is my pick to retain the championship. Let me hear y'all predictions down in the comments below. Post your predictions in the comments. If you agree with me, comment down below. If you disagree with me, comment down below. I love wrestling.